You do Tank Lip, aka Jason Lip, aka L.I. the Prophet, aka the last of the great Jedi, aka the GOAT, aka the last great hope for the helpless and weary. This is the Tank Lip blogs, Tank Lip Diaries blog part 2. So, with 7 months having passed by and having lived my life under the illusion that, and the delusion, which makes sense, as a man with mental illness that suffers with paranoia, I'm going to go with delusion versus reality here, that I thought people had the cameras rolling and that there was no need to document what's going on in my life via these blogs, or as you would call them, video logs, vlogs. And now in retrospect, no one has come to me with a contract and said, Jason, sign this, so that you can get paid some income for this movie or TV show, kind of like on some Truman Show shit, of your life. But the phenomenons that I've been experiencing, the experience of this has been very real. Honestly, I don't know how no one else in the neighborhood doesn't see it, or they do, and this is just one big joke, and I'm the butt of the joke, and everyone's involved except me, or I'm even involved, but I'm the one getting punked. See, that's kind of what I was hoping, was like throughout all the duration of experiencing the phenomenons going on that felt very much like something cinematic. These did not seem like ordinary experiences. So I tried to evaluate the equations and say, constantly evaluating what's more realistic to be the actuality or reality of the situation, and what is more likely that if I thought a certain way towards it, the phenomenon, if it was a delusion or a paranoia. Not that I have schizophrenia, but something that's would have more lend itself towards an ailment of paranoia, which I could write off on my illness, And honestly, more often than not, I felt like someone is making a brilliant TV show and a brilliant movie, and they're keeping me kind of in the dark with it, as far as telling me what's going on, because the moment they tell me there's a TV show and a movie, my actions would be more contrived because I would be catering towards a camera. What people don't realize is that the phenomenons were so overwhelmingly seeming cinematic. Like when you see people that look like your girlfriend, and there's literally what you call a clone or a doppelganger. But I want to go more with the word doppelganger than clone, because clone has a very scientific kind of connotation to it. Doppelganger is someone that looks like someone. So let's go with doppelganger. And that seems like a good word to choose for this phenomenon, because if people were being casted to appear and make cameos in my neighborhood, in the vicinity that I'm around, and like be near me and access me. And let's just allege that the cameras are rolling. Okay, it'd be more likely to call them doppelgangers, people that look, women that look like my girlfriend, versus like some scientific thing happened in a lab at some point and these people are actually like DNA related to her. Although I will say that the phenomenon going on is the resemblances of these doppelgangers to my girlfriend. There is such striking resemblance that at times, and I know this is kind of hard to swallow and isn't really a comment that makes sense, but her doppelgangers sometimes look more like her than she does. They look more like my girlfriend than my girlfriend. So it almost does look like a clone situation. But that's like a real hard pill to swallow, that somehow I met this girl and she's part of some scientific thing that went on at some point in time where like her DNA was cloned into like all these people. Because I'm telling you, millions of doppelgangers in the last 7 months of her have accessed me. Like Indian ones, Asian ones, Spanish ones, black ones. The white ones are endless. The white ones, then you got the category of the white ones, the one in her age bracket, the older one, the senior citizen doppelgangers. What would she look like at 70 or 80? The ones that look like her in her 40s. Although she doesn't really look like she's in her 40s. Now, she looks like, even though she's 43, like she's in her 20s. So basically, any 20-something year old looking, doppelganger is going to look like her. So I'm just talking countless ones that look like they're in their 20s. Little young girls that look like they could be her, I don't want to say younger sister, but like her baby if she had kids and never told me she had kids. So there's like all that going on. So there. The last couple minutes we spent, I kind of rehashed where I was going in the first blog that I had discussed in Tank Lip Diaries blog part 1. There's a phenomenon of doppelgangers. Now, let me just say this. The way my mental illness has kind of the experience of it through the time of the last 20 years that I've been documented with mental illness. When I get sick, it's always something of like a loss of reality, which I guess lends itself towards like a diagnosis of schizophrenia when you can't discern real from unreal. But I'm telling you, like I've worked so hard on myself and my sleep, and a patient that takes medicine so that I never have to experience the loss of reality that I have at other times that I had to be hospitalized, when like that loss of reality became so unmanageable because it was so unstable. And as sick as I've gotten this summer in my girlfriend's absence, okay, which did trigger something in me, her moving out. As sick as I got, I did hold on for dear life in survival mode for my sanity. And I tell you with compelling conviction, this situation with encountering women throughout my day that look like my girlfriend, and encountering men that look like my best friend, and every once in a while encountering men that even look like they could be my doppelgangers, This feels so compellingly like either something scientific, and this is like a freak event where they all just happen to be migrating towards my neck of the woods, my neighborhood, or there is something cinematic going on, and I'm just either left out of it, and that's why no one will tell me what's going on, or I'm part of it, and they want me to stay, and my reactions to this phenomenon to stay realistic. Knowing my personality, the people involved in like conducting this phenomenon, that once they tell me this is going on, they believe my reactions will no longer be authentic. I'll be catering to a camera or constantly looking for the camera. I won't be having like sincere, authentic reactions to these things, and it won't make for as good a cinema. So that's like kind of like a theory going on. Now let's get into, just briefly for this blog, and I think for this blog we'll end it at that. I can't seem to get my girlfriend to move back in. And I'm starting to have a lot of red flags and questions regarding like what is the real reason. And I've had these questions all along because at the 2-month point I didn't quite get why someone that says they're in love with me won't move back in. As far as I know people, every person that's ever told me they were in love with a partner that split up with a partner, they couldn't rush back to that partner quick enough, and that doesn't feel like the experience with my girlfriend. So it raised red flags for me from the very beginning. But I stayed in this because people near me said, you're not well right now. Trust her is what you need to do. So for everything that would ordinarily kind of be a concern or red flag to me to make me not trust her, I dismissed, because she moved out in the first place because of such types of paranoia exhibited by me, where I didn't trust her. Okay, and allegedly, according to her, that pushed her away. So I've kind of operated and responded and reacted backwards according to normally what I would be or react in situations. Okay, and that was my effort to perform a miracle on my illness and also exhibit and portray change in myself and towards the relationship with her, to her, to show her that I made changes so that there would be a reason to come back to me, that things wouldn't go back to being the same. Because if the same didn't work before, it makes sense that it wouldn't work again. So I understood moving forward in kind of a trial thing, what she said. I wasn't being put through a test, and it wasn't a trial, and I wasn't being judged. But let's be honest, it's a version of a trial. You know, it's a version of her evaluating if it's fit to come back, safe to come back. So she's judging, analyzing. It's a test. Any way you slice it, any way you roll the dice. And that's fine. That's just the nature of it. So I'm okay with that. Shit. I have the same right and prerogative too to evaluate her and see if this relationship, you know, still works for me. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. The status quo of the living situation, where I have deemed and made it very clear that a relationship that works for me is one that's stable, and one where I don't live with my girlfriend full time, doesn't provide me the stability and peace of mind I need. And that's not to include the fact that I'm paranoid. That is exempt of paranoia. That's me on perfect circumstances where I trust my girlfriend and I'm not paranoid. A relationship that works for me is still one where I live with my girlfriend full time. Doesn't mean I've got you on lockdown and I'm controlling you and telling you can't go out without me. It's not that at all. It just means that's what I need for some order and some stability and some regularity. Not that you come and visit me for 2 days a week, come to my house, sleep over, and then check out of my house like it's a motel or hotel each week. And that each time you check out of this motel hotel, which is not a motel hotel, it's my home, it's a house, which I've talked in terms with her that it's our home, me and my girlfriend's home, so that she doesn't feel like she's just coming to my place. I always use the word our, okay? I can't handle, after 7 months, saying goodbye to her each week, and then saying hello, and then saying goodbye. So I'm at a point, and we'll discuss more in future blogs, what's going on that are the excuses I'm being given and the reasons. You know, I realize the word excuses is kind of provocative and a loaded statement. Okay, I could just say the reasons she's giving me for the delay in her moving back in. But a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, she lets me down. That's the reality. Sorry, hon, if you watch this. You're letting me down. You're disappointing me. And it doesn't work for me. And a lot of times, the fact that 3 months of the 7, okay, it's been 7 months that she's been moved out. But the last 3 months, as of 3 months ago, I was told to her, she's in love with me, she loves me, she wants to marry me, which she was telling me the entire 7 months. But what she added to the equation was she's ready to move in now. I was told the end of September she was moving in. Now it's the end of November. That's 3 months. She hasn't moved in. And during this time, there have been many weeks where I was re-promised that she was going to move back in. And I was disappointed. That's why I use the word excuses. Because sometimes when you're constantly disappointed and then told, but next time, I promise, and then the next week something new comes up, it starts to feel like not just reasons, but excuses. Because how many times could there really be valid reasons why you're delaying it? Other than some truth that you don't want to be completely honest with me of what that reason is. And if that's the case, then that means you're giving me excuses. Some other answer, some other reason, other than the truth. What I want to discuss in the blogs is the information I can give you towards the facts of the situation. And kind of in a therapeutic fashion, kind of try to explore and see if I can figure out on my own and with y'all what is the bottom of this? What is the reason for this delay? So it's causing me a lot of pain. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why I'm resorting to a blog, so I can just talk about it and not just bottle this all up and have my mind start racing. I've got to get this off my chest. And I don't know, maybe from my situation y'all can learn something. And then also too, if for some blessed reason these are actually interesting blogs and there really isn't a movie or TV show that someone's ever going to say, we were working behind the scenes for you, Jason, to create this kind of great gift for you of a way you can make money by creating a movie or a documentary of your life or a TV show. Okay, if some situation like that turns out where it wasn't a Truman Show type situation and there really is no cinema, at least that I'm included in, and even if there is cinema, and that's why the phenomenon was going on, but I wasn't included, I was alienated, just like life has alienated me. Okay, and it turns out, you know, there was that, but I was just on the sidelines to it. Maybe these blogs will be interesting enough where I could piece them together, as I discussed on Tank Lip Diaries Part 1 blog. You know, maybe I can make a documentary from my own making, like take it in the palm of my hands and say, you know, fuck it. There is something interesting I'm experiencing. It has validity to it. It has value as learning situations that people could learn from. It portrays a useful kind of exhibit of self, relying on self as a resource to heal, such as like, oh, Jason Lipp made a blog to like get through this situation with his girlfriend. Maybe that is like a universal lesson to learn from, to show people. So maybe there's so much value that can be learned from these situations. So I feel like it's not a waste of time to make these blogs. Maybe this makes more sense than making 300 rap songs of poor audio quality. At the end of the day, I didn't make these rap songs that I've been making in a way where they were very professional, even though the writing content in them was very good. And maybe my rap flow that I would have done at the studio for these lyrics was good. The actual things I was putting out maybe were a waste of time, but maybe these blogs make more sense than that. So maybe I'm going to dump my time into this now. I don't know, I'm running out of tricks up my sleeve and I'm still in a lot of pain. My girlfriend's still not back and my life is still in crisis. I really don't know what to do. With her, with my life, kind of in shambles right now. But you do tank lip. Love y'all. Thanks.